Perfect. Sounds great. All right. So, just starting with the beginning, let me just grab this here real quick before I forget. We have two adjuncts that would love to be a part of this committee. So, sending their invitation. It's Courtney Davis and Terry Kaiser. And so both of them are fabulous. I'll have them catch up with the meetings and schedule a check-in with them before our next meeting to see, how they can see themselves participating. And then so pretty much I wanted to check in with each teammate on where their progress is on their cross checks or wherever you are in the process. Kara, I got you. I heard you loud and clear. You need a moment, especially with student issues all taking up your Monday. No worries. And Kara, like, I'm here too. Whatever you need, please reach out. Like, I'm happy to jump on a call with you at any point,
Yeah.
or a quick drive by in the office, drive by. That don't sound good.
Yeah, no, I guess my biggest concern is the timeline because like, as you know, and Fatima can attest to this, we're just literally hour to hour right now, kind of trying to get our course out. So I'm just trying to carve out an hour on Saturday, to do this. So, I will do it. It's just, it's not done for today.
Yeah, no worries. I just want you to know that I'm available. So, whatever you need, let me know. And then let's see here. Um, so, and then Eric too, we voluntold you for one that we thought you would enjoy, which was the diversity one. We
Yeah.
figured that would be up your alley.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then I met with Jave too, and we kind of went through 4.9 around what exactly is hers. These were all things Constance had tasked her with before we even started meeting. And then there's one in there, Corinne, that I found for you around simulation. So I just put everybody's name in it. So let me show you what that looks like real quick. Oh, I have it up already. Sorry to make your car sick. So here in the writing draft, just to clarify so that we're not confused, which ones, and then of course, Constance, cross-check me and check me. So it was just this one here, the state national qualifications for simulation in lieu of clinical. So I'll just ping you in here. And then all right. So I just wanted to touch on 9 real quick. All right. So I guess we could start with Grecia.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. All right, so I am starting to put like bulletins and like the documents in the writing draft on my parts. So it's a work in progress. I did communicate with Nick about the need to have, well, I want to have a standardized verbiage for each of the criteria in our standard 4. And so far, I sent an email requesting, because there's plenty of us colleges, sister colleges, to work on each criteria. I sent out a request that if we're going to do this, it should be ready by hopefully spring break, so that faculty has an opportunity to review all of the criterias and approve or make any changes, since we're up for review in September. And so far, I've only had, so we're taking, PC's taking 4.1, and SCC is taking 4.4, and then Gateway is taking 4.2. And those are the only 2 other colleges that have responded to a criteria that they're working on. So my plan is continue to work on our writing, like in our writing draft. I put some stuff in ours already, but I did have a question. Like currently I'm just like doing bulletins. Do we want to, like, how, I guess for me and how my brain works, like first putting in all the information and then writing it out. Like I have the old one, the whole document, as an example, but obviously that isn't like in a paragraph form. Do we like, is that how we want to fill out our areas? I guess that's my question.
I can step in. So one I will address with NLC, the lack of engagement on Nick. So I'll take care of that this morning and make sure I include Margie on it. Everybody has to participate. That was an agreement that she made for Nick that they were going to do it. And so I need her to ensure that that follow-up happens. But then when it comes to this, yes, things that can be in a table, we love tables, it's quick to read, but if it's not in a table, we need a narrative. It should be a narrative. We can't really put a narrative form to our student learning outcomes, right? But we can do you can stick it in a table, like this is what the district says, then this is what we do. To mobilize it, so you can still find it, but they are looking for more. Certain parts of this they do want it in a narrative format. So it's probably going to be a combination of a little bit of both, and that's why the sooner I get it, the sooner I can give it that big once over, and then you start shaping it into that one voice that happens, so that it comes back out to you.
Got it. And a lot of these, like some of the, I have documents, like there's a document where it compares, like it's a nice table where we see the NOF competencies versus our end of program student learning outcomes. Like, can I just copy paste that table down there? Like, it's really.
Keep in mind, guys, this is a draft, not perfection. So you take that information, you get it in there, and then we start massaging and making it clearer and more concise. Essentially, I hate to say it, but we also have to plan for the fact that Nick does not appear to be doing the work that they said they were going to do. And we can't wait for them because our site visit is coming. I will say that we are in a better position after this last visit that I was on. Our credit distribution document. Have you guys all seen that?
No.
Okay. So that credit distribution document is so helpful for Standard 4 because it shows in each one of our courses, it shows the credit hours, it shows the clock hours associated.
Oh, that's the standard I'm doing, I think.
Yeah. So
Okay.
because we are a 9-credit class, one of the big things they're looking for is how much is lecture, how much is simulation, how much is lab, how much. And so that's at the district, we all have that. But then when we get to the PC one, we know that some of our places were 100% simulation. So then we have to have a conversation about that. But we're in a much better place than some colleges in terms of we have that outline. Our bigger challenge is going to be explaining why it's from 2015. 10 years. Why is it from 2015? And then at 2018, it didn't change. So the credit distribution has not moved since 2015. And it kind of goes along with our curriculum changes and revisions. So that's the part I'm really looking for Nick to identify. That's Margie's job.
Right.
They need to speak to, and it can't just be, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix. We don't need to fix it.
It's broke.
Yeah. So we're living under it. We just got to roll with it. But I will say preceptorships, I tasked Margie with getting that information for the whole district. I tasked Margie with going to those partners that we have to identify that preceptor work, how they are selected, how they are trained. And she gave me a verbal agreement that she was going to work on that. She also gave a verbal agreement during NLC that she was working on that. So I'll do a check-in in November and see where she's at before I reach out and just have Gervais start asking our clinical partners.
She hasn't shared it yet. Is it a benefit?
I would love to assume benevolence. I'm trying to lead with benevolence at this point. But we just, unfortunately, for my own work, I don't like to be beholden to other people for the work and the deadlines that we have. It creates a challenge for me. Maybe it's that old ICU control coming out, but
I don't think it's that, Constance. I think it's because I have that same anxiety about it, that if they don't do their job, it's gonna create chaos and stress for us. And that's not fair because we've already been through enough. Like, we just need to get it done. And they need to say if they're gonna do it or not. I don't think that that's a control issue. I think it's called consideration, you know?
And I think it's called accountability and professionalism.
What?
Fatima drank her auntie juice this morning.
love it.
I had a big coffee this morning, so I'm awake.
I'm on number
You- You guys just make me so joyful. You really do.
So Constance, just for the notes purposes, I'm just gonna ping Javay to give her an update on that. Because I don't think the last time I spoke with her, we were aware of that piece. How, are you okay with that?
Absolutely. And then Javay and I have a meeting next week where we can follow up.
All right. So Grecia, and I'll go back into the recording because I missed what it was, PC, Gateway, and I think Scottsdale you said that took a standard. I'll go back in, I'll look for it.
Yes, that's what she said.
Okay.
I wrote it down because I was feeling saucy when I heard it.
Gateway and Scottsdale, and that's just 3 of us.
Okay. All right, I'll go back in for the standard. All right, just catching the notes. Okay, so what else? Grecia, did you have anything else?
Um, no, I'm just trucking along, adding, now that like I said, I just started putting in like bulletins and moving things over to our writing document, and thank you, Constance, for clarifying. My other piece, no, I think we're good. I'm just trucking along.
All right, I'm just gonna go down the list. Fatima, it just exuding this joyful auntie energy this morning. Do you have any
Well,
updates?
I had standard for curriculum, the 4 God, I can barely remember my kids' names these days. 4.3, criterion 4.3. And so what I did so far, I know I've been working a little slow on this, is I created a Google form. I did some research on what strategies, evidence-based strategies are used out there. And I created a form that I can, with super simple 2 questions with check boxes to share with the faculty. And I'm going to circulate it to the faculty, gather the responses, so that way we can have a list of strategies that they're using. And there are 2 questions. One is instructional strategies, one is technology. And once I have that data, then I can actually connect it to the research, evidence-based research that I'm seeing, and maybe put a report together, and I will share that with you.
Fatima, can you add clinical instructional strategies and then make sure the adjuncts are also included in your,
Clinical.
yep, because that's a completely different thing than our classroom instructional strategies.
Okay.
And, you know, our residential can answer that, but so our adjuncts should be answering that as well.
Yes.
What
That
are
would be
they
good.
using?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'll add that. So to circulate that form, do I just send it to PC nursing?
I'll
Am
give
I
you both emails.
able to?
I'll plug both emails right in here.
Okay. So would you like me to share that form with you and Constance before I send it out? So if there's something needs to be added, maybe seeing
No,
that you guys have more insight into the need of ASIN.
nope, that's the big one, was making sure clinical and adjuncts are a part of it.
Okay,
Because they're using, the first person that came to mind was Freddie when he's working with students. And some of the things that he does. Can't forget Kelsey is an adjunct and she's teaching didactic. So we just
Yeah.
want to make sure that we capture everybody, but that we're specifically also capturing that clinical lab instructional strategy, the simulation one. It's more than just the classroom, and that's sometimes where there's a little bit of a deficit, but if we can explain it to them in advance, then they're just there instead of them having to get clarification, then they're just verifying through observation, and it makes it a lot easier.
Yes. So then I will divvy up my questions. Instead of having one, I can keep one specifically for classroom, one for lab, one for clinical. Okay.
Yeah, Neil's really good too. Have you ever heard him debrief with a student? He's fabulous.
Who is that?
Neil Patel.
Oh, really? Yeah, Courtney is really good too. I mean,
Yeah.
I love our adjunct. They're really strong.
We have a lot of really, really great adjuncts, and that's why it's so important to have them working on this with us. Those might be future faculty in Maricopa once at some point.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I'll do that. And then I just have to circulate it. And once I have the responses, I'll just go ahead and make it all pretty and create some tables, charts, diagrams, nice report on it. It'll be interesting. I love that stuff. So
That's good.
And
Let's
then
bring in some joy. Anything else, Fatima?
It sounds like an ASIN peer evaluator in the making.
Hey.
I don't know. I love my classroom. I love my students. I think I'm going to stay on the floor, on the ground, ground level.
Right. Corinne.
Yep. Kind of just plugging along, looking at all of our stuff. I have had to schedule in some time in the next couple of weeks specifically because I've been focusing on our clinicals. So getting there. But kind of the same plan as Gracie, it was more of a list and then the narrative.
Can I just jump in really quick? The narrative on the old ones are pretty good. We like copy paste, no, modify. Some of it is very like straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, Karen process. Scheduling. Okay, Eric, so you were just voluntold on this, sir. If you could catch up and watch the recordings, or have you done that? You're on mute, dear one.
Sorry. I have not. Unfortunately, I have also kind of in the same boat as Corinne, been focusing on trying to get clinicals all set up and going. But I will in the next couple weeks start getting that compiled. But it's a good one. I know a lot of the blocks are already doing a lot of stuff, especially with like diversity, equity, and inclusion and all that. So I think we'll have some pretty good data.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I had an idea for you, Eric, here. I hope it's okay. Maybe you can catch up with recordings and then sit with it. When you look at 4.5, I'm sorry, 4. Oh, I got a little echo there.
Mine 4.7.
No, 4.9. Give me a second to get there. There are a few ones here for faculty that I would like you to look at as
Okay.
a block 4 faculty.
Okay.
Um, so I thought you might be a good person for this one,
Sure.
looking at it holistically.
Yeah.
May we volunteer you for that as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. Eric. All right, so the last one that we need someone to pick up is 4.5. This is a place I think I can help y'all because of or we can look at assigning our adjuncts to this one together. Because this one is looking at the sequencing of nursing courses. Constance, open to your guidance here for this one. But I think that would be a good one for them to see the foundational work that is done here. And I can support them in that.
But it's easy because it doesn't change. It's a guided pathway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't change.
Mhm.
And it's already written out for them in the handbook.
Yeah, so I thought it would be great, especially for Terry Kaiser being a newer adjunct with us.
Okay.
So I thought this would be one that I could meet with them on and kind of guide them through. Because I think it's great for their onboarding process and growth. Terry is about to retire from her clinical role. And so she's really interested in, being on committee, learning more about academia and all those other things. So I thought between the two of them, this would be a good idea.
Okay.
Okay. 4.5.
A question, guys. I made a standard 4 NIC draft, very similar to ours, but with everybody from all the sister colleges to put in their information. Should we link that draft in ours, or can tie it until we're done at NIC? What do you guys think?
What we actually need to see are the meeting minutes from Nick where all of this is being discussed.
Not yet.
That's what we need to see. Like, we have meeting minutes here where we're discussing it through our curriculum stuff, but truly we need to see meeting minutes from Nick. And again, I feel like we're gonna get dinged. If at the district level, if we don't, I just have concerns. I have concerns.
Grecia, isn't it in our process to put the NIC meeting minutes in our standard 4 folder or a district level folder?
Yes. Did I not?
But they keep talking about the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah, there hasn't been any actual NIC meetings regarding this process.
Ah,
It's in the Maricopa Nursing, it's in our curriculum campus.
Yeah.
Make sure it's in ours.
Well, maybe it'll just make us look all the better when they pull those meeting minutes and then they see ours at our college and the things that we're doing, you know.
Maricopa Nursing Curriculum course. I just forgot the name of it.
Mhm. I think that's the name of it.
Okay, I feel like that's the
Isn't it?
name of it.
Maricopa Nursing Curriculum. I don't see our minutes in our standard 4 curriculum PC nursing folder to put in those.
It might be in standard 1 for district level stuff. I can't remember now, but table of contents. All right. So that's the check-in with everybody. Constance, do you have anything else for us on this so far?
Now, the big one is, where's Nick? And the last one is truly, our curriculum is pretty well crosswalked out in advance, so it's easy for us to write to this one, but I'd like the agreement from Nick to still follow through. And then that preceptor one, they're really hitting it hard now. And I think it's an area of opportunity because we don't know. We just send them out there, and then yes, the block 4 faculty in transition to practice give them a new set of objectives, et cetera, but we don't know who these individuals are that actually have our people in these one-to-ones. We don't know how they were hired. We don't know their backgrounds. We don't keep a file on them. So we're just kind of trusting, and we're not a part of the process in placing those students. So that's going to be our biggest gap in this standard. Like I said, I'm gonna follow up with Margie today on that one, and then also with NLC about getting other representatives from the other campuses to take a standard and start working on it. Is there anything else I can push from the leadership standpoint? Oh. Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
Real quick before we go. For the data, the form, I'm just wondering, do you want, would it be better if I cluster the data, like, okay, online learning or gamification, or should I list or let them give an example? I'm trying not to complicate the form.
Yeah, let them give an example, because that's what they're going to do when they get the faculty
Okay.
in the meeting. Okay, that meeting with faculty lasts 2 hours. 2 hours. And the team is going to go through all of those different standards, and they're going to start asking questions. So when they get to curriculum, it's going to, they're going to start asking for examples. One of the things that we need to upload into the repository are examples of actual student works, those lesson plans that you guys, that I keep clamoring at. It's those lesson plans that are going to show some of those teaching and learning strategies and how they're mobilized. That's why those are, again, so important, because that's how we can demonstrate the things that we are doing. But let the faculty have to let you know. And if they don't have anything, they're like, I don't know what a teaching and learning strategy is, then that's a great opportunity for me to be able to go and just have a conversation with them on how do we get that skill, those skills developed and that understanding a little bit deeper.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good. Thanks.
That brings up a good point, Constance, because I have a meeting, I think this week, with Kalichi and Rebecca Montaño, Backman, around what we're gonna create for the adjunct, the all faculty meeting in the spring. So if there's anything you identify, everyone, this is a good one. Like, what is a teaching and learning strategy? Like, that's a great opportunity for us to do some education with the faculty around how they're mobilizing curriculum.
Do our adjuncts know, do our faculty know all 10 of our student learning outcomes? Do they know our end of program student learning outcomes?
Yeah.
Like, I think that there is something to be said there, that it's not just the students who don't know what they are.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out right now to Block 2, just because everything in that freaking course has the SLOs all over it, including the assignments, and how Block 2 students aren't connecting that that's their end of program learning outcomes. I don't understand. It's all over that thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that last assignment for their last clinical day for Med Surg, and Block 4 does this as well. How did you mobilize this standard? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
this outcome, like, how did you provide examples? Block 4 does this really well as well, you know? So I don't understand how the students don't know. It's
Because
like,
that's, they see it and it's just a number.
Yeah.
They don't actually read the objectives.
Yeah.
They're there for those few that do, but they don't read the objectives. They don't necessarily even read the outcomes. Like, what should I be able to do at the end of this? That's not their focus. And that's why you hear, I need a study guide, because they haven't paid attention to the fact that we've already told them the exact things that they should be doing by the end of a module, an assignment, a course.
Mhm.
So that's going to be on the student side, where we just have to really get in there. And again, our current block 3 and 4, they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
But our current 1s and 2s, that's where our work has to see, because our current 2s will be our block 4.
Mhm.
Yeah, think about it. Your current 2s are gonna be our block 4s when ASIN shows up.
Yeah. And to give some love to block 1, I just haven't been in your stuff at all, so I don't know.
Kara created this excellent document.
Yeah.
She created it last semester and she forgot she did. So when it came up, she was like,
You're just
oh,
getting it
okay.
done, sister. Kara's getting it
But
done.
she literally related everything, all the tasks, like in our practicum
Sim.
or sim,
Yeah, Sim, yeah.
to a student learning outcome, like
Beautiful.
in like examples.
Well,
with
and I
something
did it for the faculty because you know how the faculty have to evaluate in track prac, they have to evaluate the sim based on the student learning outcomes. And they were all just going satisfactory, satisfactory, satisfactory. And so we gave them, we linked it to the what they're actually doing in sim. So if they did this, this means they met that program or student
Mhm.
learning outcome and stuff, just because we weren't getting meaningful feedback from the adjuncts because they didn't know, like, what does quality improvement look like in block 1?
And I hope you have that written down somewhere in meeting minutes, something that you did it, you had the
No, because I
conversation.
forgot that I did it.
You should backtrack, because that's actually a really beautiful example of how you're bridging it for not only the students, but for the faculty as well, for consistency and grading. Like, that is a beautiful example.
Mm. Well, thank you. I wish I could have taken credit for it because I argued that I didn't do it. And then someone pulled it up and went, yeah, this is created by you last year. Like, I don't know, last year was a blur.
Maybe you can add it to your next meeting on your agenda and
Like,
then
remember
just
when I created this?
check done.
That happens to me all
Well,
the
and that
time.
you're gonna continue using it moving forward?
So it's, yeah, for sure. And it's actually built into the sim that we're doing on Thursday. So it's there now. It's just when it actually got created, it's just a little fuzzy.
And that's fine, as long as it starts showing up now and
Yeah, it
moving
starts showing.
forward,
Yeah.
it's beautiful, because like I said, to me, that sounds like an example we want to have in the repository as evidence.
Okay, well, just leave out the part that I denied creating it.
Okay,
Like,
but keep in mind, whenever you come across something like this, any creative thing that you're doing in your classroom, anything that is mobilizing the curriculum, like, start looking for some of those strong pieces of evidence, the work product that a student is completing. Just think about it in terms of, what would I want the accreditor to see to highlight the things that we do? How do we look at a gap and then figure out the bridge to get over that? And we do it all the time. We just don't document it because it's so ingrained in a part of the process that we do at PC that it's just commonplace for us. But ASIN doesn't know that. So we have to actually, this is the time we have to actually toot our own horn. And as Marilyn is very aware, I am horrified. I'm horrible at that one. So I'm counting on you guys to really be able to pull, like, look at what I did.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea because I was thinking for next semester for clinicals, seeing that I've been doing clinicals so long and, like, you know, developed insight in that area. I was like, I'm going to use that same framework and list exact specific tasks that meet each, because students always ask, what is quality improvement? Why did you say needs improvement?
well,
You know,
and
I didn't know what I
and
meant.
that will also be good for the adjuncts because again,
Yes.
you and I know this well because we have to put it in each of our lectures, but you know, the adjuncts don't understand what that is. And actually, that's how this came up. I thought I did it for clinical, but it turns out I had done it for sim.
And you know what? Sharing that out with the rest of the team in the other blocks.
Okay.
Just as a, hey, we're using this. This is what we identified. This is how we came across it. The other blocks might want to adopt something like it as well.
Okay.
That'd actually be really great.
Well, and
Okay.
if it's the same document that I'm thinking about, it might be something that they are, several of the blocks are using in some kind of
So
fashion.
yeah, because I think
It's just that we are
I made it.
specifying it to certain experiences.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's where it came from. I saw something about here's examples, but it was totally irrelevant to our sim. So I took it and I modified it to our sim. Because yeah, obviously the block 1 competencies are very, very, very different than.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think our quality I think our QI ones for block one are completes a Morse fall scale and completes a
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what I
Mhm.
think I'm picturing the document
Yeah.
in your
So it, you know, because
and
it probably did show
Yes.
up last year if I created it for last year.
I think it might have been one that we've used in a couple different spots and you guys have modified.
Mm.
Yes. And it helps the students to see it too. We posted it for the students to see,
Yeah.
so they know exactly what they need to
Mhm.
do to accomplish it.
So when we're talking about this, because obviously one of the things is all of our test questions and all of our anything evaluative has to be linked to a learning objective, and then those learning objectives have to be linked to SLOs, right? So like in lecture, or what or in our like when we give the modules to the students, I give them the learning objectives, and each of the learning objectives are linked to an SLO. And I do that for, we both do that for every lecture, farm lab, and skills lab. So is that the kind of stuff that you're talking about for examples, like where we are taking the content for the week, breaking it into learning objectives, and those learning objectives are linked to SLOs, and then our exam items are linked to those learning objectives?
That should be being done across every single block.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So taking a snapshot of, or like basically saying, look, block one's doing this. Here's an example of week four's lecture, and here's some, yeah, okay.
We also have something that I'm thinking with the new faculty transition. We actually have a test bank with all of our questions on it, and each question is aligned with an SLO. That was something we had started back when Constance and I were teaching in block 4. You know, I gave it to Eric when I moved to 3, and then we started that precedent for 3.
You mean putting
So-
it in the actual exam question?
Here,
Yeah,
I'll show-
we do that too, in the rationale.
No, not just in the rationale, but in actual form. And I don't know if this is an overkill. But I'll show you what it looks like for OB at least.
Mm.
Shared drives. And then anytime we change a
Oh.
question or we update it, it has what we're looking at.
So we have on our blueprint, we
Mhm.
have that, but that would be exam specific. And again, I think right now with block one, because we've had to revamp so much, there's a lot of questions that aren't that aren't being reused because they weren't great and didn't have the right
That is
spelling
a-
and stuff. So we don't have like a comprehensive document, but I know I'm sure my colleagues on our exam questions, like what in Canvas, each of them has in the comment section the rationale, the type, and then the learning objective
Perfect.
SL
Yeah.
thing too, but it's just not in a Word document.
Yeah, I don't think in my opinion, Constance, step in here if you feel like it. But in my opinion, you don't need another document as
Yeah.
long as it's there and you can produce that
Yeah.
for ASIN, because Standard 5 committee is going to come looking for it.
So, and that's a good question. Is there a way to extract test bank or, is there a way to extract questions with their
We
content?
pulled it from the CSV files and then we
Ah,
added the categories on there.
got it.
That's how we
Okay.
did it.
Okay.
Because then it was literally copy paste. Anytime we create a new question, we pull it over and then we have that version. And then
Right.
if we change it, that's captured in our meeting notes. Why did we change it? Is it
Right.
necessary? Or was it just, because each group behaves a little different with the same
Right,
question, depending
Yeah.
on,
And what we've got is we've got 3 groups doing
Yeah.
3 different questions because
Correct.
they're all building.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then I guess for the CSV files though, like the ones that we're pulling, those are just gonna have the exam, like what was given on the exam, but the link to the SLOs, I guess Fatima would be in our blueprints.
Yeah,
Yes.
and don't forget the CSV doesn't pull alt
Right,
format.
right. So that, yeah, that's why the blueprints and the exam analysis will have,
Yeah.
we'll have those. Okay.
Would you be able to share that, Marilyn? I mean, a blank version of it, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I love that form. I like how I'd rather create the test banks in there than Canvas.
No, you still have
But-
to do them in Canvas.
No, I'm saying like in the sense like have the, SLOs and stuff over there for me to
Oh.
see. Every time I'm creating a test, I would like to see it on a sheet instead of
So
dig
you
for it.
want to create a new form.
But I will tell you what, that one form, when you're using Excel or Sheets, it really can be everything. You can have your blueprints on it as another tab. You have the test
Yes.
questions in bank
Yes.
in one, the SLO mapping. So it's your exam workbook
Yeah,
versus 10,000 different
different
sheets.
documents, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of streamlining, but you have to figure out what it is you're trying to collect and why
Right.
before you can start creating those. So, Marilyn and I were doing that because it's just what
Mhm.
I did.
Mhm.
And that's what she did. And so some of those are a little bit further advanced just because of all the years that went
Yeah.
into them and the revision and the scrapping of them. Yeah, that didn't work. Let's try it this way.
Right.
Yeah, and I was saying that,
Yeah.
yeah, in the interest of time, I think it's better to not necessarily get dazzled with a spreadsheet, but to make sure that at least everything's there and, then as time allows, work on something like that. But
Yeah,
I'll share
It's
the
a good
blank.
down the road thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like it helps us to understand because you guys come with the insight of it. So it's just
Sure.
right. Why recreate the wheel? when it's
Yeah,
there?
that's why I'm happy to share it. And
Okay.
I'll do that today. Oh, let me give myself a note because I be forgetting stuff. Just share the question bank doc with block one. Yeah. All right. So is there anything else that anyone has? And then we can have the gift of 14 extra minutes in our lives to do other things.
So I saw you sent out an invite for the next meeting for
Uh-huh.
November 8th. That's basically just another check-in? Where's everybody at? Where's our challenges? What have we been able to do? What haven't we been able to do? Or is that a hard deadline at this point?
I personally would recommend it to be a hard deadline because November now we're starting to, get ready for the spring. We got schedules and, whole bunch of things that are up in the air and we have to be able to have a plan to meet any issues that we found. So that's really where November, when we met, in the beginning was like a hot month for us because that's where we can plan interventions. Like, if we need education for the faculty is a great example. Kalichi and Rebecca need the time to pivot to whatever it is that we need so that we're making sure we have a focused intervention for the faculty, for an example. Right? Our plan for the students as far as understanding their curriculum. We got to have that November, and it could even be a check-in meeting. And then we say the 15th is when all the draft writing needs to be done. Do you see what I mean? But we need that recommendation more than anything from this committee around what needs to happen with faculty and what needs to happen with students so that we can spend the spring to do that. So that's where it's getting a little hot up in here.
No, I mean, we're all gonna do what we're gonna do. Like I said, we're just,
We're all doing our best.
yeah, we're all doing our best.
Yes.
And if our best isn't that great.
So our best is way better than we think it is. So I'm gonna love on you for a minute, Kara, if that's okay. Just like I loved on Constance a little bit ago, and just said, Eric, here you go, make it happen. Love you. Mwah.
Hey, bring it on. I only tried to die this semester. It can't get any worse.
All right. Anything else, friends? Or are we good? Awesome. Constance, may I take this 12 minutes from your life? She's like, really? Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Bye.